Welcome to ACD Combatives, your combatives and control tactics channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hey guys, Coach Kurt. So this one is a good one. Well, I think it's a good one for learning, and it goes back to one of my favorite subjects, the over-dependency of the Taser in law enforcement. And again, I'm a big advocate of the Taser being on our belt. It's a great tool if it's understood its strengths and its weaknesses. If you don't understand the strength of the tool and the weakness of the tool, it's going to fail you. And it may fail you anyway. In 25 years of police work, and again, I've worked for several different agencies in different environments, I think I have personally seen the Taser fail more than I've seen it succeed. That's just me. There's no scientific proof to that statement whatsoever. It's just my observation. And it's super important to understand and recognize when to go to the Taser, when to blend into weaponless defense. I mean your control tactics and your combatives, hands-on, your baton, your pepper spray. And pepper spray is not nearly as skookum and cool as it was back in the day when I first started. When I started law enforcement in 97, pepper spray was all I had at the time besides my baton. A Taser hadn't been around for probably another 5 years after. Or maybe it's just 5 years for me. That's neither here or there. But it's super important to know the pecking order of the Taser in law enforcement today and what it's good for and what it's not good for. And I highly recommend that when you train it, you're not just popping off some rounds, but you're incorporating some stress, like shoot, don't shoot. A lot of times we like to incorporate it on the shooting range after we finish qualifying. The instructor will, throw out a scenario and or what have you. You get creative as you want, but you're popping that Taser off and transitioning between Taser and firearm. That's a safe and an effective way to get your Taser cartridge deployments in. My agency, you have to deploy 3 a year, and that's with the 26P. We're currently going to be switching to the Taser 7, which from what I understand is a better platform. I'll let you know when I get certified on it. And but still, it's still just a Taser. It's not the hammer of Thor. It's not the phaser that you'll see in Star Trek. It's just a tool when appropriately used and applied can be effective. You absolutely still need to train your hands-on. You absolutely need to train your de-escalation and your baton and pepper spray and what have you. And what you will see in this video, the importance of seeing the big picture, pre-assault indicators, what led up to the tasing in the first place, and you will also see what you need to do when the Taser's failing. And I can't say for a fact that the officer's going to realize that his Taser's failing, other than you will hear in his voice, and we've all been there, when you hear an officer on the radio and it goes up 2 or 3 octaves, that's the unspoken shit's going down. I'm rolling that way, and to back him up even before he asks or she asks. We've all been there. We understand exactly what I'm suggesting. So let's go on to the video and see what we can see.
Sir, come here for a second, please. Because I asked you to. No. Okay. For what? Because I told you to. What?
Okay, pre-assault indicators. It's important to see the big picture. This isn't just going to be a Taser video about how it can fail you. Any tool can fail you. Your firearm, your Taser, your baton, your own brain. Training makes you a better officer. So here we're seeing pre-assault indicators. He drops his bag, he squares off, his hands come up. You can tell that something's going to happen here. And bam, he punches the officer and runs.
Dispatch, I'm flying 1 behind Ingram.
So the Taser is deployed, but he's still pulling something out of his pocket. From what I can tell from the video, it is a firearm that's wrapped up in a bandana. And the officer's recognizing that something's going on, but he doesn't quite recognize that it's a gun yet. But you'll know when he does, because like I said earlier, his voice will go up several octaves. And if he stays with the Taser. That's why it's so important to practice transition drills between Taser to firearm, etc.
Do it now! Put
A round just was ejected out. So he worked the slide, a round came out, and he shot the officer. Now the officer showed his shooting back. And I don't sit and count for sure, so I'm pretty sure it was maybe 5 rounds. But the officer was able to return fire. I don't know if all 5 rounds hit the bad guy, but at the time of the video, the bad guy's still alive, and the officer recognized that, so he has to control the scene and keep people back so they're not getting hurt. Plus, he doesn't know who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. We've all been there when you're surrounded by people, you don't know whose side you're on. That's the bad guy wailing in the background.
Dispatch, I've been shot. Give me a medic.
So again, I see this officer doing a phenomenal job of keeping his head,
You're good.
fighting through the pain and the shock, because his body's screaming at him right now.
609 Ingram. I've been shot. I've been fired. I returned fire. I need medics. I need crews, please.
So he's called for medics and
Everybody
crews,
stay inside.
not
Stay
just for
inside.
himself, for the bad guy. He's doing everything by the book. He's doing a really good job of fighting through this. Remember, there's people all around.
Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Again, this video is not for shock value. It's to show you the importance of knowing your equipment and knowing that your equipment can fail you.
609 Ingram. Please hurry.
The taser can fail you, and I've seen it fail more than it succeeds in my career.
I've been shot on the left side of my head. I can barely hear my earpiece.
This is where training is absolutely crucial. Knowing your equipment, being able to transition between equipment. Maybe this would have been prevented if there had been more transition training. I don't know. I wasn't in the officer's head. I wasn't there.
Everybody stay inside for me, please, all right?
This video is primarily
I need you
to show you
okay?
that the taser isn't
I know
infallible.
and I appreciate it, okay? You're
I think he's fighting off some shock right now. He's definitely in a bad place, but he's doing a great job.
He still has a gun under him. Okay, I got it. You okay? I don't know. Okay. No, just wait for more crews. Okay.
So again, I'm super impressed. This officer stayed in the fight. This video was not in any way, shape, or form to suggest that he did anything wrong. It was just, this is a great training tool to what happens when you first pull up on scene, read the scene. Sometimes it's difficult. You're getting what dispatch told you. Yeah, it's chest pains. Yeah, of course it's chest pains. There's a knife sticking in the guy's chest. That is an example of what can come over the air, but it's yes, there's chest pains involved, but yeah, it's because there's a knife in his chest. So it's not a medical, it's an assault. That's an extreme example, but you know if you've been on the job for any length of time, and it's not dispatch's fault. They give what they get. If they get something from Joe Citizen, they do a really good job of trying to pull information out of people, but they're only going to give you what they get. So the information you get when you pull on scene could be half-assed and bullshit anyway. So now he's walking up on this individual, knowing that in this case it's counterfeit money being passed, and the guy drops his gear and steps back in a bladed stance. That is pre-assault indicators 101. You should have learned that at the academy. That should be built into your control tactics program. And we all know we're not getting enough control tactics. And when you do, it's a combination of stuff. It's the full meal deal. You're getting a fire hose sprayed at your face and you're drinking from it. It's not just ground tactics. It's not just striking techniques. It's not just being able to do objective, reasonable force and being able to transition tools. It's not just, being able to verbally de-escalate. All those things are part of control tactics. The taser, the baton, the pepper spray, the hands-on techniques, the self-defense, and the control tactics. And then firearms in my agency is a separate deal, as it should be, because it would be dangerous to put the two together. But you can do sim training for use of force, you can do laser training for use of force, and you can do this transitioning safely, even with a red gun and a red taser, in a scenario-based environment, where you're transitioning from taser to pistol. Because I think there might have been an OODA loop issue here where the officer, I think he recognized that poo-poo was about to hit the oscillating device. I think he recognized that a gun was coming out, but he didn't transition. And again, I wasn't in his head. Please understand that I'm not saying he did a crappy job or anything. The officer is a superhero. He did a phenomenal job staying on the scene, staying in his head. You know the dude was in pain. You know, he was bleeding into his camera. I think I got the point across. I hope I got the point across. At the end of the day, what this video is don't count on that taser being Thor's hammer. Don't count on it being a phaser. It's a taser. It's a basic tool, and know that it can and often will fail you. All right, everybody, please send me ideas. Please like, subscribe, and share. And everybody, please stay safe.
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out.